The ship glided silently through space, cutting across the glittering stars as Lyra rested against the bulkhead, her hands trembling slightly from exhaustion. Every mile brought her closer to home, closer to the mother she had feared she might never see again. Marcus watched her from across the cabin, alert and ready, but also quietly observing her courage. The journey had been tense, fraught with danger, yet Lyra had held on. He could see it in her eyes, the mix of fear, relief, and determination. She was strong, far stronger than many humans he had fought alongside. As the ship approached the orbit of her homeworld, the planet's surface came into view. It was beautiful, with oceans that shimmered in blue and green, and cities that stretched toward the sky, untouched by the destruction that had scarred other regions. Yet in the heart of the capital, the royal palace glimmered with golden towers and luminous energy fields. It was a place of history, of culture, and of power, and it was where Lyra's mother, Queen Althera, waited. Inside the palace, Queen Althera paced in the throne room. Her regal form was tense, and her normally calm demeanor was replaced by worry and fear. Every minute without news of her daughter stretched endlessly. She had sent scouts, messengers, and spies, but the chaos of the battlefield made information scarce. Her mind replayed every possible scenario. Lyra injured, captured again, or worse. Her heart ached with each thought. Then, her aides reported a signal from a human ship approaching the city. A ship bearing the unmistakable signature of the human soldier, Marcus Kane. Althera's eyes widened. Could it really be true? Could her daughter have been found and rescued? She rose from her seat, her usual composure giving way to hope. She hurried to the observation balcony as the ship descended. Through the transparent energy field, she could see the craft lowering onto a secure landing pad, and then she saw them. Lyra, her small frame escorted carefully by a human. Her heart leapt. "Lyra!" she cried, her voice echoing across the chamber. Her guards parted immediately, sensing the importance of the moment. Lyra's head lifted at the sound and tears filled her eyes. "Mom!" she shouted, breaking into a run. Marcus allowed her to move ahead, keeping a steady distance to ensure her safety. The reunion was instantaneous. Lyra's arms wrapped around her mother's neck, clinging as if she would never let go. Althera held her daughter tightly, tears streaming down her face. "You're safe," she whispered repeatedly, her voice breaking. "You're safe. I thought I might never see you again." Lyra sobbed against her mother, her body trembling from relief and exhaustion. "I'm here, Mom. He saved me," she said, glancing at Marcus with gratitude in her eyes. "He brought me back to you." Althera turned her gaze to Marcus. The human stood silently, bowing slightly in respect, though he could feel the weight of the Queen's stare. In that moment, words were unnecessary. His actions spoke louder than any declaration. He had risked himself to bring her daughter home. He had acted with bravery, intelligence, and compassion, qualities that, despite the prejudices of some alien races, humans possessed in abundance. "Captain Marcus Kane," Althera said, her voice firm but warm. "You have done more than your orders required. You have saved my child. For that, I am eternally grateful." Marcus inclined his head humbly. "Your Majesty, it was my duty," he said. "No one deserves to be taken from their family. I could not allow her to suffer when I had the means to help." Althera studied him carefully. She had heard stories of human soldiers, some reckless, some brutal. But Marcus was different. He was not merely a fighter. He was a protector. And in a galaxy full of shifting loyalties, that mattered more than strength alone. Lyra stepped forward, still holding her mother's hand. "Mom, he was incredible. He fought through everything and he never gave up on me. He saved my life." The Queen's gaze softened and a smile appeared on her face. "Then we are indebted to your courage, Marcus. You have shown that humans can be allies, not just in battle but in honor and heart." The palace aides moved quickly to ensure Marcus was comfortable, providing him with food and a place to rest. But he barely noticed, his attention remaining on Lyra. She seemed lighter now, freed from the weight of fear, and yet there was a quiet strength in her eyes, a determination born from surviving the impossible. Marcus admired that. Over the following days, Marcus stayed within the palace, assisting with security assessments and providing advice on defense strategies. The rogue factions that had captured Lyra were still active, and the Queen wanted to ensure no further attacks could threaten her people. Marcus worked alongside her generals, sharing human tactics and strategies that many of the alien advisors had never considered. He adapted quickly to their technology and culture, showing that humans could learn, adapt, and innovate in ways that few expected. Lyra watched him quietly during these days. She had seen humans before, but never one like Marcus, someone who combined bravery with intelligence and kindness. She realized that this was a quality her people needed to recognize. Humans were not merely outsiders. They could be heroes, leaders, and allies. Her admiration for Marcus grew daily, not in a romantic sense, but in deep respect for what he represented. One evening, as the sun of her planet dipped below the horizon, casting the city in shades of gold and purple, Lyra and Marcus stood on a balcony overlooking the palace gardens. The air was cool and fragrant with alien blooms. Lyra turned to him, her voice quiet. "Marcus," she began, "I don't know how to thank you enough. You didn't just save me. You reminded me that there is hope even in the darkest times. Humans, your people, you're stronger than anyone imagined." Marcus shook his head with a small smile. "I didn't do this for thanks, Lyra. I did it because it was right. Because someone needed help and I could provide it. That's what humans do." Lyra looked out at the city below, then back at him. "I want to help my people, to make them stronger, to protect them better. And now I understand that humans working with us could make a real difference. You've changed the way I see the galaxy." Marcus nodded, understanding the weight of her words. This mission had been more than a rescue. It had been a bridge between worlds. By saving Lyra, he had also shown that humanity could rise to challenges no one thought possible. That courage and compassion could influence even the highest levels of alien society. In the days that followed, the palace celebrated Lyra's safe return. There were ceremonies and honors, but the most important part was the quiet moments she shared with her mother and with Marcus. Althera watched them together and realized that humans could be trusted allies. The bond formed through this rescue would last far beyond this crisis, shaping the future of interstellar cooperation. Lyra's confidence grew rapidly. She began attending strategy sessions with her mother and the council, offering her insights from the time she had been captive and from the journey home. Marcus observed her, proud of her courage and resilience. She was no longer just a frightened child. She had become a capable leader in her own right. One afternoon, the Queen summoned Marcus to her private chambers. "Captain Kane," she said, her voice steady and regal, "you have done more than rescue my daughter. You have earned the respect of this entire world. Humans are no longer strangers or outsiders in my eyes. They are heroes. And you, Marcus, are a shining example of that." Marcus bowed. "Your Majesty, it is an honor to serve your people. I hope that my actions reflect the values of my species, and that we can continue to work together for peace." Althara nodded. "Indeed. And for Lyra's sake, we will ensure that humans and aliens can stand together against threats no matter how great. Your bravery has changed the course of history, Captain." Lyra entered the chamber quietly, taking her mother's hand. "I owe him everything," she said softly. "Not just my life, but the hope that we can be stronger and better." "Thank you, Marcus." Marcus smiled. "You don't need to thank me, Princess. Seeing you safe and strong is enough." In the weeks that followed, Marcus prepared to return to his ship. The mission was complete, and the princess was safely reunited with her mother. But the bond he had formed with Lyra and Queen Althera would not fade. The human soldier had proven that courage, intelligence, and compassion were not limited by species. He had shown that humans could make a real difference in the galaxy, that they could be heroes in their own right. As he boarded his ship, Lyra ran up to him one last time. "Marcus," she said, her eyes shining, "remember that you have friends here. You showed us what humans are capable of. You've given my people hope." Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "And you've reminded me why we fight, Lyra, to protect, to help, and to make a difference. Never forget that, Princessa." The ship lifted off, leaving the palace and the reunited mother and daughter behind. Below, Althera watched, pride and gratitude filling her heart. She knew that the galaxy was vast and dangerous, but with humans like Marcus and with brave leaders like Lyra, there was hope, a hope that could withstand any storm. As Marcus navigated back into space, he looked out at the stars, thinking of Lyra and her mother, and of the countless lives that could be changed by courage, honor, and compassion. Humans were often underestimated, dismissed by alien civilizations, but he had shown that one person could make a difference, and in the heart of a young alien princess he had sparked a vision of a stronger, united galaxy. Lyra and her mother would Conti. The stars shone cold and distant above the battlefield, casting pale light on the wreckage of what had once been a thriving alien city. Smoke rose in thin spirals from shattered towers, and the cries of the wounded echoed across the debris-strewn streets. Among the chaos, a small figure struggled through the rubble. She was young, her movements weak and trembling, but her eyes, bright and fierce, shone with determination. This was Lyra, the daughter of Queen Althara, heir to a proud alien civilization. Until now, she had been safe within the royal palace. But during the recent raids, she had been taken, dragged away by merciless invaders who sought leverage over her mother's reign. Lyra's hands scraped against the jagged ground as she crawled through the ruined alleyways. She had tried to escape, had hidden in shadows, but the enemy soldiers were skilled trackers. Her stomach ached with hunger and fatigue weighed down her limbs, yet she refused to give up. She could hear the distant sounds of battle, the clang of weapons, the roar of engines, and the low hum of alien drones. Every noise reminded her that danger was close, that she could die if she stayed exposed for too long. Far above, in the quiet of space, a sleek human ship navigated the asteroid field surrounding the planet. Its metallic hull reflected the starlight, a sharp contrast to the chaos below. Inside, Captain Marcus Kane scanned the readings on his console. He was a human soldier, known for his courage and tactical genius. He had been briefed on the mission hours earlier, and now he was flying toward a planet that most thought was lost to chaos. His orders were simple: rescue the alien princess and return her safely to her mother. But Marcus knew nothing about the bond he was about to form with Lyra, or the way this mission would change how the galaxy saw humans. The ship descended, weaving between debris and hostile patrols. Marcus's hands moved with precision over the controls. He felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, the focused clarity that came in the moments before danger. The ship landed silently on the outskirts of the destroyed city. The airlock hissed open and Marcus stepped out, scanning the area. His suit's sensors picked up faint life signs nearby. A human might have been lost in the confusion of the battlefield, but Marcus's training allowed him to locate a single heartbeat amidst chaos. One small pulse, one young life. Lyra, crouched behind a toppled wall, heard a sound and froze. A human. Her memories told her humans were powerful but unpredictable. She had never seen one up close. They were the ones her people had once underestimated, assuming their small planetary defenses could hold against any outside force. Yet here he was, moving carefully, weapons ready but not attacking. Lyra's heart pounded in her chest. Should she hide or trust this strange being who had somehow found her? Marcus crouched low, keeping to the shadows, scanning the terrain. He saw her, the young princess, trembling but alive. Her unique biosignature confirmed her identity. "Princess Lyra," he whispered, keeping his voice calm, careful not to startle her. "I'm here to help you. You're safe now." Lyra's eyes widened. Her voice caught in her throat, but she managed a faint whisper. Who are you?" "I'm Marcus," he said gently. "A human soldier. I've come to take you home," she hesitated. She had been betrayed before, captured by those who said they wanted peace and then tried to sell her to the highest bidder. But there was something in his calm eyes, in the careful way he moved, that told her he was different. Slowly she nodded. Marcus gestured for her to follow. "We need to move quickly. There are more enemy patrols coming this way." He scanned the horizon, calculating the fastest route. As they moved together, he kept low, moving through the rubble, using every shadow as cover. Lyra stumbled several times, but Marcus caught her arm, steadying her. The touch was light but firm, giving her confidence that she would not fall. They reached a narrow alley and paused. The sounds of pursuit were growing closer. Marcus pulled a small device from his belt and activated a holographic map of the city. "We need to get to this point," he said, pointing. "There's a maintenance shaft that leads to the outer tunnels. From there we can reach my ship." Lyra nodded again. I can do it," she said, though her voice was weak. Marcus could see her fear, but he also saw courage. It reminded him why humans had always been admired, even by alien civilizations. They had a way of facing impossible odds with determination, with a refusal to give up. Lyra had the same fire. The journey through the tunnels was tense. Every shadow seemed to move, every sound echoed unnaturally. Marcus stayed close, ready to act at a moment's notice. He whispered instructions, and Lyra followed, growing steadier with every step. "Almost there," he told her. "Just a little further." Suddenly, the tunnel ahead lit up with harsh red beams. Enemy soldiers had anticipated their path. Marcus's heart raced. He had counted on stealth, but now confrontation was unavoidable. He pulled Lyra behind a large piece of machinery, ducking as energy bolts slammed into the walls around them. The explosion shook the ground and dust filled the air. Lyra coughed, panic rising in her chest. Marcus took a deep breath, assessing the situation. He realized they couldn't fight their way through. The odds were too high. Instead, he used a small device on his belt, activating a blinding flash of light and sound. The enemy soldiers were momentarily disoriented. "Now, move!" he shouted. They sprinted through the chaos, ducking and weaving. Marcus's strength and experience allowed him to protect Lyra as they ran. She began to trust him completely, clinging to his side, following his every move. The exit from the tunnels appeared, and beyond it, the open space leading to his waiting ship. Just as they neared the exit, a final enemy soldier appeared, blocking their path. Marcus acted instinctively, using his combat training to disable the soldier without harming him fatally. Lyra gasped, witnessing his skill but also his restraint. He was strong, but he was not cruel. She felt a surge of gratitude mixed with awe. They reached the surface. The sky above was filled with smoke and the distant glint of ships in orbit. Marcus activated a small aerial lift, a personal hoverbike, and helped Lyra onto it. He followed, weaving through debris and enemy fire. The ship waited, engines humming softly, a beacon of hope in the ruined city. Finally, they reached the landing pad. Marcus helped Lyra aboard. The airlock sealed and the engines roared to life. The ship lifted off, climbing above the smoke and flames. Lyra pressed herself against the bulkhead, exhausted yet safe. She looked at Marcus with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. Marcus smiled, though his mind was already planning their next steps. "We're not safe yet," he said, "but we're getting closer to home." As the ship entered orbit, Lyra finally allowed herself to relax. She closed her eyes, leaning back, feeling the steady presence of the human who had saved her. For the first time since her capture, she felt hope. Far below, the city continued to burn, but above, in the quiet of space, a human and an alien princess began a journey that would change their worlds forever. Marcus had not only saved a life, he had shown that courage, intelligence, and compassion could cross the boundaries of species, that humans were capable of heroism even in the most desperate situations. Lyra's thoughts drifted to her mother, Queen Althara. She had to return. She had to tell her mother that she was alive, that the human soldier had brought her back, and somewhere deep inside she felt a spark of admiration, not just for Marcus's skill but for the values he represented. Perhaps, she thought, the galaxy had underestimated humans. Perhaps they were capable of far more than anyone imagined. The journey back to the capital would not be easy. Enemy forces still roamed the skies, and the political landscape of her world was delicate. But with Marcus by her side, Lyra felt a sense of confidence she had never known. They would face whatever came together, and somehow, they would succeed. As the stars streaked past the viewport, Lyra finally whispered again, "I'm coming home." "Mom!" Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. No words were needed between them. In that quiet moment, a bond had formed, one of trust, bravery, and mutual respect, and it was a bond that would shape the fate of worlds. Above them, the galaxy stretched in all directions, filled with challenges and dangers, but also with hope. And for Lyra, the hope of returning home, of reuniting with her mother, shone brighter than any star. Marcus glanced at the navigation console. "Hold on," he said. "We'll be there soon." Lyra nodded, her heart full of anticipation. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, not from fear but from relief in the knowledge that she had been rescued by someone who truly cared. Someone who embodied the best of what humanity could offer. And so, amid the stars, their journey continued. The human soldier and the alien princess, unlikely allies in a vast and dangerous universe, were moving toward a reunion that would mark the beginning of a story told across galaxies. A story of courage, hope, and the extraordinary potential of humans when faced with the impossible.